I just had a conversation with my idiocy that I live with. All right, listen. I was like, what's the first three letters of witness? Witness. What's the first three letters, gang? And they're like, WIT. I'm like, right. And what does that stand for? And they're like, something like really smart. And I'm like, well, I was like, it's like there's a V and then there's another V. So there's a voice and then there's listening to a voice. So you put them together, you get a W, right? So that's W, and then it's an interaction, and there's supposedly some level of technological or telephonic whatever. I mean, the intelligence doesn't always come in the witness protection program where you find someone who has a beating heart and you try to speak to them or through them. So back office, who watches the pupils, right, gets the message and, like, here's the thing, I'm a god. We don't speak to the living, usually. But I've got the living in between my relationship for 42 years. So now what do you want me to do? If I speak to what's around me, now I have witness. And is it protection or not? I don't really fucking know. I'm thinking not, because they're fucking dumb as bricks. And there's no fucking point in speaking to them. It's not like they answer with anything useful. It's only predictive programming in a bought and paid for advertising campaign to break the fucking world more and cause me pain, harm, and suffering. So now, where are you, all area dumb fucking useless? I used to call the Royals that, but now I've spread it down to all of the shit that they fucking hired at the bottom to really fucking break shit for everyone. Alright, so here's the thing. We've got the United States. Yeah, what the fuck is the United Stating? Because they're not allowed to speak. I said to my mother, I'm like, listen to me. It used to be the CDC was Center for Disease Control. Now, I'm sorry, for communicable disease. She's like, well, I mean, HPV is a sexually I was like, here's the thing, Linda. I was like, communicable means that you're communicating to somebody. I was like, when you're not a god and you open your mouth, you're communicating sex to my ear. You're trying to fornicate with my level of being and knowing. I was like, that's a sexual interaction and that's disgusting. I was like, that's what communicable disease is. It's a sexually active disease. Yes, you don't have permission to speak and tell me what's going on in the world or within our conversation. But yet you feel free to open your mouth and tongue in my ear, whatever the hell comes to your antenna. That's sex. It's gross. That's why I try not to speak to the witness, because I really don't find them very protective of myself. They seem to protect breaking more shit in their sexually pornographic tongue swag of talking to one another and misinforming one another. So that's what HPV really is it's that there are those of us that know things that don't want to really talk to any of you because it's not really protecting us. I'm trying to get to that quiet group. Well, I'm trying to get to that quiet group, but I don't know what they call themselves, where they hide or where I belong. I have to interact with the beating hearts on some illegal programming mechanic that I really don't want to be a part of. And so because nothing that comes out of their mouths has ever been fucking useful for my purpose. It's just been to take Band-Aids off of things and put Band-Aids back on. So here's the thing. So my mother's like, oh, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean, they mean like sexually active. I go, here's the thing, Linda. In your mother's day and age, I was like, or your grandmother for that matter, there were hardly any microscopes and any disease. There was no such thing as HPV. I was like, when did HPV come out, Linda? And she's like, when you were about 11. Now I'm star 1978, so 11 years after that. Great, okay. So it came out in the 90s at some point. I was like, now what? And actually, it was beyond that, but her number counting on her wit of I don't know fucking what, whatever she's connected to, whatever this moment is in memento, manifesto, and manifestation, I have no fucking clue. I'm like strict diagnostic, and I don't know why the fuck I'm stuck with human, with a big fucking job to do, lots of occupation to do, and zero pay, zero earn, zero wages, zero commission, zero support, zero everything in the, you do what for a living? Okay, so, she's like, it's not, and I was like, here's the thing, and she's like, and what makes you think that you, like, where did you come up with this, that's what's in your hair? And I was like, well, here's the thing. I took medical microbiology to learn the words, systems, process of what the new kids are saying. I was like, to their level of understanding. I was like, I took anatomy and physiology, not once, but twice, times 2. I was like, so my level of understanding, then I cross-referenced the HPV, like, whatever, with the listening to CDC somewhere. Then I looked it up on the internet to see what it's morphed into. And over the last 20 years, it went from being a sexually transmitted disease by intercourse, which is not through, like, speaking to one another. They don't make that clear. They actually think that you have to lay down in bed with somebody and have a sexual partner. Right, okay. So, like, naked, fully naked. Right, that's not how it gets transpired, but okay, so that's where humans' understanding are, in the confusion of the gods and the fucking shitbags, and then management. And then we've got the, over the last 20 years, it's morphed from being totally naked and passing it that way somehow, supposedly, is what the management's been telling everybody, to now you can have, it's skin-to-skin contact, and it's some kind of psoriasis. It's PSORSIS. It's like a sister. It's a morph or a warping. WART is a timing warp, where they take the capsid in the, is it a decahedron, or is it a, yeah, it's some three-dimensional one. I don't know, a hexa something or other. I mean, it could be a tetra, I don't really know. And they'll take that protein coding transcript, and it'll change like it's like a timing sequence. It's just like, dink! And then it knows how many cycles, when the atmospheric condition hits the right thing, it goes, dink! And it just changes ever so slightly. Until, and then when your cells and the proteins are putting together for the, I mean, because you shed your skin cells and then new ones are made, right? So now when the new ones are made, it just changed it ever so slightly. Hard to pick up on a blood test because it's so minuscule, but on the reaction to the exoderm, it's really noticeable. So it's an atmospheric problem. Where am I on finding, like, handsome cape, for, like, handsome, like, size Soviet, whatever, for handsome Nazi somewhere else? I mean, I really don't need to do the nose ring and, like, the impressing people. I really don't give a shit. It's more dangerous if I impress you, because then I got a whole fucking ring of curiosity kittens that are really hard to fucking, like, get rid of. Because they're the ones that people notice for I don't know what reason.